Hello everybody and welcome back to another EDH deck tech idea. Today we are looking at the Pride of Clade. It is a 11 mana 2/15 and this spell costs X less to cast for X is the total toughness of creatures you control. With a toughness of 15 it's pretty clear that this card has Defender, and for 4 mana, until end of turn, target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw cards equal to its toughness, and can attack as though it didn't have Defender. In this deck we want to build an impenetrably board of creatures with Defender. At some point activate the Pride of Clade, swing in and draw a bunch of cards. We'll be playing cards like Jungle Barrier, a 4 mana 2/6 Defender, and when it enters the battlefield we draw a card. Towering Titan, a 6 mana 0/0 and it enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the total toughness of creatures we control. We can also sacrifice a creature with Defender at instant speed, so all creatures gain trample until end of turn. Wall of Frost, a 3 mana 0/7 with Defender, and when it blocks a creature, that creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Hover Barrier, a 3 mana 0/6 with Defender and Flying. Cherix, the Raging Isle, a 4 mana 0/17 and spells your opponent's cast that target Cherix, the Raging Isle costs 2 more to cast. For 3 generic mana, Cherix gets +X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of islands we control. We don't care about Cherix's activated ability if we are able to draw 17 cards with the activated ability of the Pride of Clade. Bedrock Tortoise, a 4 mana 0/6 and as long as it's your turn, creatures you control have hexproof. Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. We want to ensure that all of our creatures connect, so that's why we play Tetsuko Umezawa Fugitive, a 2 mana 1/3 and creatures you control with power or toughness 1 or less can't be blocked. Suspicious Bookcase, a 2 mana 0/4 with Defender and we can pay 3 mana and tap it, so target creature can't be blocked this turn. Mistford River Turtle, a 4 mana 1/5 and when it attacks, another target attacking non-human creature can't be blocked this turn. Elusive Crisis, a 3 mana 0/4, it is unblockable and it also has Evolve. Aqueous Form, a 1 mana enchantment aura, an enchanted creature can't be blocked. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, we scry 1. We can also use the Key to the City, a 2 mana artifact, and we can tap it to discard a card and up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn. When it becomes untapped, we may pay 2 generic, if we do so, we draw a card. Let's also reduce the cost of the Pride of Clade's activated ability, with cards like Training Grounds, a 1 mana enchantment, and activated abilities of creatures we control cost 2 generic less to activate. This effect can't reduce the mana and that cost to less than 1 mana. Biomancer's Familiar, a 2 mana 2/2, and activated abilities of creatures we control cost 2 less to activate. This effect can't reduce the amount of mana an ability costs to activate to less than 1 mana. And we can also tap the Familiar, so the next time target creature adapts this turn, it adapts as though it had no +1/+1 counters on it. Let's quickly talk about a few powerful enchantments. Assault Formation, a 2 mana enchantment and each creature we control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. For 1 green mana, target creature with Defender can attack as though it didn't have Defender. And for 3 mana, creatures you control get +0/+1 until end of turn. Sword Coast Sailor, a 2 mana legendary enchantment background and commander creatures you own have, whenever this creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more life than that player, this creature can't be blocked this turn. Feed the Pack, a 6 mana enchantment and at the beginning of your end step you may sacrifice a non-token creature. If you do, put X 2/2 green wolf creature tokens onto the battlefield, where X is the sacrifice creature's toughness. We don't necessarily have to win with an army of defenders if we are able to create a powerful board of wolf tokens. Side of the Scale Lords, a 5 mana enchantment and at the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control with toughness 4 or greater get +2/+2 and gain vigilance until end of turn. We are drawing a bunch of cards as soon as one of our creatures connects, so we also play Ominous Seas, a 2 mana enchantment and whenever we draw a card, put a Foreshadow counter on Ominous Seas. We can remove 8 Foreshadow counters at instant speed to create an 8/8 blue Kraken creature token. You can also cycle it for 2 mana. Unnatural Growth, a 5 mana enchantment and at the beginning of each combat double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. It is easily possible to draw 30 cards in one turn with this deck. So let's make sure that we can keep all of those cards. Wizard class, 1 mana enchantment class, and on the first stage you have no maximum hand size. Second level, when this class becomes level 2, draw 2 cards. And on the third stage, whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Venser's Journal, a 5 mana artifact, you have no maximum hand size, and at the beginning of your upkeep you gain 1 life for each card in your hand. Body of Knowledge, a 5 mana avatar, and Body of Knowledge's power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand. You have no maximum hand size, and when it is dealt damage, draw that many cards. Crewfix, God of Horizons, a 5 mana 4/7 indestructible, and as long as your devotion to green and blue is less than 7, Crewfix isn't a creature. You have no maximum hand size, and if unused mana would empty from your mana pool, that mana becomes colorless instead. Of course, you play Reliquary Tower, a land, you have no maximum hand size. You can also cast Seagate Restoration, a 7 mana sorcery, draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand +1, and you have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. You want to win more? You get it. Probably one of my favorite win cons in this deck is Psychosis Crawler, a 5 mana artifact creature, and its power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand. And whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life. You can also mill your opponents out with cards like Teferi's Tutelage, a 3 mana enchantment, and when it enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. Whenever you draw a card, target opponent mills 2 cards. You can also play Sphinx's Tutelage, a 3 mana enchantment, and whenever you draw a card, target opponent puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into her graveyard. If they are both non-land cards that share a color, repeat this process. You can also pay 6 mana to draw a card and then discard a card. Alright guys, these were a few cards that I will play in the Pride of Clade. Let me know down in the comments below which cards you would add to the deck, which legendary creature I shall feature next, and then I would say, see you in the next one. Goodbye guys.